Does it seem like it should be necessary for a state to make a law banning pornography from schools? Like what? I'm not talking about kids bringing it to school. I'm talking about banning it from being provided in the materials that schools are providing for children. Should that be necessary? Okay, so clearly this is not the most hopeful thing I have heard from education recently, but we're getting there, okay? There's a state in our nation that has been doing a lot with their education system, okay? They outlawed pornography. They have outlawed critical race theory. Depending on where you get your news, you either hear a lot about this or I'm guessing not anything at all. The whole idea is we are all either oppressors or oppressed, and what determines which category you fall into is the color of skin you were born with. Doesn't matter how you treat people. It doesn't matter anything besides how you were born. Bad things in our midst that have infiltrated without our awareness has created lots of hate and divide. Okay, so they've outlawed that. They made a law that anything taught in their schools has to be in alignment with their state constitution and the US Constitution. Well, that seems like it makes sense, right? But when we're teaching kids that it's unethical to own property, for example, well, that isn't in alignment with the laws of our nation. Okay, so things like that are no longer allowed. All core subjects, the English, the math, are going to have a patriotic theme throughout the things that are being taught. So rather than teaching that our nation is a bad place with a bad history and we should despise it and want to change it, we are teaching they are teaching their children to appreciate and love what we have, and people who appreciate and love what they have will want to take care of it. Last but not least, let's see who we can make mad right now. They are teaching the Bible throughout their curriculum. I think it's for historical value, I'm not sure, but anyway, it is throughout. So I was listening to a podcast yesterday. If you care about education and you are on board with what I'm going to share about here the next few minutes, you have to listen to this podcast. It is the Moms for America podcast. If I got any mama bears out there who, like, if you think like me, there's an organization. I haven't gotten involved. I don't know a lot about it, but this is an organization fighting for the things we care about. Moms for America podcast. The episode just came out. It's called Bringing Patriotism and Biblical Values Back to American Classrooms. They are doing amazing things, okay? So they made these laws. There may be others as well. I don't know. So then they start trying to find the resources to be able to teach their children. So they need resources in alignment with these laws. Shocking. They couldn't find any. The craziness going on in our world has affected so very many things. And these companies, there's like a handful of companies that produce all of the educational resources that our schools get to choose from. Well, the pickings are pretty slim, okay? So she says they are using whatever resources they're trying to use. They were going to have to make 30,000 edits to these resources to bring them in alignment with their new laws regarding education. 30,000 edits, right? Right, okay. So what do? I am so excited about this. They decide we're going to make our own resources, and they sound amazing. I used to be a teacher. I was a teacher for 7 years. I didn't teach a real subject. I'll make fun of myself. I'm going to make some other teachers out there mad probably. I was a high school agriculture education teacher, FFA advisor. You've either heard of it or you have no idea what that is. That's okay. Oh my gosh. What we teach our kids, how we teach our kids is so very important, and it starts at home. Like you cannot let your kid lay around in the room all the time watching a tablet or a phone and then send your kids to school and expect teachers to fix them. Like this is a group effort between what is going on in our homes and what is going on in our schools. Is so important. The whole like regurgitating information, and we're just going to feed you information and you have to regurgitate it, and we're not going to do problem solving or critical thinking. Like there's so much that is wrong. But what they are doing, so the state that I'm talking about is Texas. Part of me wishes that I was from Texas. I've not really even spent any time in Texas besides flying through airports, but I'm pretty sure I need to go spend some time in Texas and meet some Texans because I think they're probably amazing. Texas is doing this, so they decide they're going to make their own resources. They're going to design them. The rigor that they're talking about, like having higher expectations so our kids don't just turn into zombies because we don't expect anything from them. The rigor sounds amazing. I want to give you an example. I believe this was it was from the elementary English language arts curriculum, and the topic was how to write a letter. So the sample letter that they were including in their resources to show the kids how to write a letter was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. Now, I am not familiar with this letter, but I want to go look it up now that I hear about it. I am already excited because as we're teaching kids how to write a letter, we are bringing in all these other things. When we can connect what we're teaching to the world around us, it does are they called synapses? All those connections in your brain, all these things I've tried to block out of my memory from college, right? You increase those connections, it's going to increase retention, application in life, all these things. So, letter from a Birmingham jail, like, okay, so we have history, we have culture, we have some of the past struggles of our nation, and an amazing leader who was teaching us the right way of trying to handle them instead of hate and division, which is the current way people are trying to work on these issues. Okay, so, and then she says, and what else does this letter bring in? It brings in the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the Bible. Because all of his teachings basically were based on the Bible, right? You got to go to the list of this. And then here's what you need to do. Do you care about your kids? Do you care about this? Are you on board with what I'm talking about? Or are you really angry because I started talking about the Bible? I've read some of the quotes from my founder's Bible of our founding fathers, our past presidents, and how they knew the Bible. I think it was President Zach Taylor said it is the best school book in the world. They wanted that book in the hands of every human because the teachings in there are going to make this a better place to live, right? Now I'm distracted. What else do I need to say? I don't know. This doesn't happen very often. I don't run out of words very often, right? Anyway, this is amazing. This is what I was going to say. I already did it. I made myself do it. I've successfully wasted an hour of my morning, but I just have gotten to the place where we have to spend time on the things that matter. Important quote from the Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, it's not going to change. It's not, right? I just heard that last week and I was like, yes, I got to use that in my videos. We have to be the change. We have to take the time. We have to decide what matters. Our kids and what they're learning matters so much. Here's what you need to do. Do it now or put it on your to-do list. Are you a list maker like me? Put it on your to-do list. Make a post-it. Do it. I just got on and I need to make my contacts with our Congress people. Like, I need to do this regularly so I know where to find them and all the things. But got on and I sent a note to both our state senator and legislator and said basically, I just learned about all these Texas education initiatives. I told them about them, outlawing the things and requiring it to align with the Constitution and the biblical teachings and the patriotism throughout all of it. I said, here's the link to this podcast with the information. This is amazing. How do we bring this here? I would love to discuss it further. Contact your people, talk to teachers, talk to your schools. I'm not sure what power schools have. Like, they have to be in alignment with stuff from the state. So the state is going to be the place to like really be the change. But it is possible that schools can do things too. I'm not sure. But these did I say this? These education resources that they have made, it's under Bluebonnet curriculum, Bluebonnet learning materials, search for Bluebonnet Learning Texas. I found the website. They are making them available free to everyone. I don't think I said this. Free to everyone. She said the average student materials cost $300. Anyone who can and wants to adopt these resources, they're free. They're free. Savings of $300 per child. Let's bring it to our states. I've started trying to do my part. I contacted my people. Is anybody else excited? I want to know. Am I the only one who thinks this is amazing? You got to go listen to the podcast. It was fantastic. That's what I got for today.